Today I am cooking something really interesting. This is a dish that reminds me of my childhood. It is vegetable pakoras. But traditionally this dish is fried. And I remember when I was young, my mom used to make them. We have like about 10 or 12 people here today, so we'll have enough for everyone to eat. Here's the spinach. Let me just tell you what I have today. So I've already put the onions. I had about 2 onions, 2 to 3 onions. I had 1.5 cup of green beans. I've got 1.5 cup of cauliflower. Now is the spinach. I had 1 cup of spinach. And all of these things I've just done chopped roughly in a food processor. Then we've got kale. I had 1 cup of kale. I've got my Swiss chard. Then I've got ginger and garlic. I'm just mixing them. Now I'm going to put the salt and pepper. I like to use the Himalayan sea salt or the sea salt. Okay, it's not a refined salt. So here I'm putting about this 1, 2. We'll start off with about 2.5 teaspoons of salt because this is a lot of vegetables. Then I've got half a teaspoon of paprika. Then I've got 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And my favorite ingredient, which I'm going to put a lot of, this is the pomegranate seeds. We call it anardana powder in Indian. That's in Hindi. So I've put 2, 3 tablespoons and maybe a little bit more. Caraway seeds, great for digestion. We'll put half a tablespoon of that. I have 2 cups of flour here. I might need a little bit more or a little bit less. So it's just an approximate thing depending on, because every vegetable is different. They could have more moisture or less. So depending on how wet they are, we'll use the gram flour accordingly. So I've put in about 1.5 cups to begin with. As I'm mixing it, the water is coming out of the vegetables and it's making the gram flour wet, which is exactly what we want. Now basically, if we were doing this and it was going to be fried, these things would go directly into heated oil, into a fryer. But since we're doing the healthy version, first step is steaming. I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes. The mixture that I told you, it took about 3 cups of gram flour. Now I'm going to get my hands dirty. And this is my steamer. It's already going on the stove. My steamer is already on the stove. The water is boiling. Now I'm going to put some of these. So I'm pretty much making like little balls. And I'm going to be putting them in here. So here's my pakoras. And while we were waiting for this, I had already had a batch prepared. So we're going to steam for 5 minutes. Once the steaming is done, they're going to be taken out on a tray. A cookie sheet is perfect. And then they go in the oven for about 15 minutes. So here is my already ready pakoras. Basically, it was in for 15 minutes. At about 7 to 8 minutes, I turned them over. So now both sides are done. And you can see this is our vegetable pakora completely ready. This is it. These are wonderful vegetable pakoras. We would eat them with either tamarind chutney or mint chutney, and here they are. Wonderful vegetable pakoras. Awesome and yummy. Takes me right back to my childhood. Thank you.